Okay. So again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Let's start our study of the Medium's book. And that's, as usual, I start with a quick prayer. Just welcome the benefactors and those in spirit who join us for this study. For we're not the only ones to benefit from it, but so many people in spirit just like us. We're very keen to learn about the reality of the spirit world and mediumship, so that we can better walk in life and serve in the name of Jesus, our beloved Master, to whom we send our best thoughts at this moment, asking for his guidance and protection. So be it.
So be it.
Amen.
So let me share my book so everyone can see.
Small group today.
Yeah. Some people went to Oxford to this event. I think some others took some time off, I believe. Can you all see the book?
Yes.
Yeah, so last week with Charles, we stopped at question 20, but if we don't read 19, we won't be able to, understand fully question 20. So we go back to 19 and start from that. So question 19, and this is chapter 24, is the identity of spirits. So last week, basically what we saw is the moral value of the spirit and, of course, the medium as the key element in the identification of spirits, because they can give any name. We can accept them as whomever we want. But in the end of the day, it's actually the content of the message, the reason for them to, be there, making this effort to talk to us and give us something. So question 19. Could high order spirits prevent evil ones from using false names? If you remember last week, we were talking, before this question, we were talking about good spirits who are unknown to us, taking up, names of spirits who are known to us. And the reason for that is that they want to show, the level that they are. So they provide to us an identity, not in terms of name and personality, but in terms of spiritual development and moral development. Okay, so the question was asked now about evil ones. And the answer is, of course, they could. But the worse the spirits are, the more obstinate they are, and the more frequently they resist injunctions. You should know, however, that high-order spirits take more of an interest in certain individuals than others. And when they deem it necessary, they know how to keep them from lies. Deceiving spirits are powerless against such persons. So basically, we can understand the question here and the answer here, sorry. First, to be sure that high-order spirits, they can handle any situation, especially in regard to evil spirits using false names and bringing us certain falsehoods. But we should always remember that every opportunity can be a lesson for us. And that's why they don't step in every time we are exposed to evil spirits and are maybe deceived by them. Because this is a way from us, for us to develop our, perception, our way of analyzing the content and not believing just in anyone or believing in things that we want to believe, Oh, I'm a very, person who likes all these theories about the apocalypse. And so we are always finding something to say, oh, this is a catastrophe that is coming because it's been planned and the world will, will end. So we see people who like that. And if the spirits come and tell them these things, they immediately believe because they like that. So there's always a lesson. If evil spirits are allowed to communicate with us and deceive us, that's because we need to be prepared. We are not prepared yet, but we need to be prepared, of course, by gaining experience. And we only gain experience trying to sort out situations like that. And also, the spirits, they answer here that they take more of an interest in certain individuals than others. Why? Why? There are these evil ones who come to communicate with us, but in some cases, the spirits, the high order spirits, they take more interest than in other cases. And then that prompts question 20. What is the reason for this partiality? So Kardec puts the question, seeing that there is a partiality, apparent partiality for that. And the answer is, it is not partiality, but justice. So where, is justice in all this? So the spirits, they say, good spirits are interested in those who profit from their counsels and make serious efforts to improve themselves. They favor these persons and help them, but they do not bother with those who waste their time with flowery speech. Again, they bring the lesson to those who are keen to learn. Those who are full of pride, and here we are talking more about those receiving the messages than those giving the messages, the mediums more than the spirit. So if as I said before, if the medium wants or has interest in that situation, the good spirits won't step in. They respect free will, always. So if I want that, they won't just come and intervene. But if I'm trying to listen to more elevated messages, but evil spirits take advantage of, a mediumship meeting or something to deceive me, good spirits, they will come and they'll make the most of that because they know we want to learn. They know we are gaining experience, so they'll come and help us. But if they are for frivolous reasons and so on, they won't do anything until we realize and ask for their help. They, don't step in, but they are not too far away as well, because as soon as we change and we sincerely ask for their help and their enlightenment, they will come to our aid. Hi, Christine.
Oh, hi, Munir. I was just about to say, could it also be spirits don't necessarily give us too much guidance if they're taking us from the an atonement that we have to have, or the path we're supposed to go down, and we haven't realized it yet? Could it be that as well?
Yes, I mean, they know what to tell, how to tell us. So whatever they give to us, because they could come and tell us the cure for so many diseases. They could say, well, this will come into your life and the solution is this and that. But where is the learning process in this? We need to go through situations with guidance. If we go through situations, it's like going to, to learn a skill. You need a tutor. You need someone next to you, not doing it for you, but telling you, guiding you. So what do you think you should do now? Oh, I should do that. Well, but if you do that, don't you think that this will happen? Oh, yes. So I should do it differently, Basically, that's what they do. But if someone comes and say, no, I know everything about this, I'll do it my way, the tutor just steps back and watches, So when the person is in a mess and they say, oh, please help me, they will come and help, because the person is then ready to take the lesson. Free will all the time. It starts from us. So if we are deceived, if we are obsessed, it started or it starts, from us. Bliss, I think you raised your hand.
Yes, I did. Good spirits, they also are very prevalent, I should think, in helping those who are particularly beneficial to humanity, who are doing good things and helping humanity progress or learn. And a prime example is the Spiritist movement, you know, with all the help that we get here, and the guidance, which is, you know, always going on, encouraging us to go into the right direction. And other people, people who are benefactors as well for humanity, all the good works that is done behind the scenes.
Yeah. And we come to an incarnation not to do things unexpectedly, things that weren't planned, completely different from, no, we come and we have a group in the spirit world overlooking our incarnation, taking care because we had a plan. We are part of that group. And they want to help us despite our imperfections, you know, and they are many. They are here to help us, but it is our behavior. If we show vices like pride, selfishness, of course they say, well, this guy needs to wake up before he, you know. And that's why certain situations are allowed by good spirits, including being the victim of deception by evil spirits, because that is a learning process. I mean, we need to be prepared for the task. If it's a good task, we can't just improvise. We need to be prepared. And how do we get, you know, gain experience and skills and so on? If we don't have them, or if we have started to develop them, the lessons are really necessary. But then when the lesson comes, it's up to us to decide what to do. And they say, no, I don't want to know about spiritism anymore because, you know, you'll be obsessed by a bunch of evil spirits and that's it. And the other one says, well, I have to be careful. If I really want to do this good work, I need to work in myself to be less selfish, less, you know, proud, less this and work that. And so it's our decision. If we make the good decision, we have the support, the backup of good spirits. If we don't, well, they will let the lessons come. And when the lessons come and we ask for help in order to learn, you know, what, then they will come and help us. Free will from their side, from our side. I mean, if I choose this path, and they, of course, they will try to send us some, you know, signals and say, well, look, you know, you should do, I think you should do it different, like pieces of advice, you know, you should do this, you should do that. But if we don't take that, well, they say, okay. It's,
the other important thing is that spirits don't just help individuals, they help groups, they help professions like in surgeons and things like that. And more importantly, they help nations or diplomats, you know, those who are pushing for peace or doing their best to actually negotiate, you know, all the problems and try to prevent, well, war and unrest. So nations also have groups of spirits.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Because sometimes we think, oh, I have my mentor, my spiritual guide or guardian angel or whatever. And it's like a competition, you know. You are there for the competition, you have your coach, and it's just between the two. The others who are, you know, running, for instance, with you, well, they have their coaches, and, you know, you don't want to know about them. You want to know about you and your performance. But incarnation doesn't work that way. Because can you imagine in your family, how many guardian angels are involved? You, your husband, your kids, and then your parents, and, you know, all the family. How does that work all together? Do the guardian angels meet every now and then to decide what to do? And what about the community where we are? We also, you know, we are an active element in our community in one way or another, bringing good things or evil things. You know, I teach, so, you know, all the students, you know, I interfere with them. I can give a good or not so good contribution to them. And in any area, how does that work? So there is a high or the organization in the spiritual world for things to happen. And we are part of this, each one of us. And of course, there is, this interaction between among the guardian angels as well, among those helping us. Basically, we also have hierarchies. And here we have this study. Well, we are part of a spiritual group, very large one, coordinated by spirits who are more elevated than us. They may not be perfect spirits, pure spirits, but they are more elevated. And then perhaps comes a demand from our guardian angel to this group, to the mentors in this group, and say, well, Munir needs these and these and that. And they say, okay, all right, let's, try to help with that. Or you say he's facing these and these in his personal life. Perhaps the group could contribute with something. You see, so there is an constant interaction there, so that we here also have a constant interaction and can give a contribution. And so it's not just as simple as, one-to-one, one, runner and one coach, for instance, and, working independently from the others. No. We have a more important work here. Sometimes we think, oh, but, I don't do anything great in life. Well, we don't need to do something great in life, because the situation where we are is actually first for our personal development. But not for our personal development, for us to be detached from the world and taken away. No, for us to give a better contribution within this plan. There is a plan for the planet. There is a plan for our family group. There is a plan for our country. There is a plan for, our surroundings. And we may be more active in this plan or less active. Sometimes we need training. If I need to, train for something better, I perhaps have to withdraw a little bit, work hard in me, getting fit, getting the skills I need. And then when the time is right, I will come and have a more impact in the society where I am, in my family, and so on. So we should see it like that. Wherever we are put, whatever position, we can always benefit from that. And that's why the medium, Raul Teixeira, I like that so much. He said to me once, Munir, learn to blossom wherever, life puts you. Blossom there, in the desert, in the swamp, wherever you are placed, blossom there. Learn to blossom there. Meaning, whatever the situation, give your best. If I have to, lead or have a very quiet, isolated life, not because I want to isolate myself from the world, but because, the conditions don't allow me to, have a different life at that moment. Well, I need to learn some skills like patience, humility, appreciate, simple things that we have every day. The sunrise, how many people actually stop to contemplate that, and when you have a long period of rain and cold, and the first day that, we see this blue sky and the sun, that's marvelous. We thank God immediately, just by seeing that. So beautiful. So simple things in life, and also in terms of relationship, sometimes we forget them. We cover them with this very thick cloth and forget that they are there, and pay attention to things that perhaps are not that relevant. So every situation in life can bring benefits to us if we know how to get the best of that. Practicing, exercising values, good values. And I think this Spiritism is wonderful in doing that. It helps us see the benefits we can get from these situations.
Also, in our busyness in life, we can take things for granted.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm doing the peel of the onions and the fruit, and just go down to the basics to, have that gratitude, and try to find out what you might be taking for granted and show the appreciation for that.
Yeah. For instance, if we are born in a wealthy family, also lived in a wealthy environment, and then we take that for granted. We think that that is life. We haven't been exposed to the hardships of life, and but that may change. We don't know. We don't know. There's a reason for us to be there at a certain moment in our life. Some people, spend all their lives in a similar condition, but some people, their lives change. At one moment, they have all the family members around them. Perhaps next day, they're all gone. We see situations in life where things change so quickly. So we can't take things for granted, as I said. Wherever we are, good or bad, or apparently good and apparently bad, there is something for us that, can help us as spirits, something we can gain and then take with us into the next phase. Because life is always changing, always changing. Okay. Question 21. Why does God allow spirits to commit the sacrilege of falsely using venerable names? You may as well ask why God allows people to lie and blaspheme. Like people, spirits have their free will to use for good or ill, but neither group will escape God's justice. This is the thing, free will. We are free to sow, but we are forced to reap whatever we've sown. And that is God's justice. We are not forced to do anything, but once we do, we have to reap the consequences of that. 22. Are there any formulas that are effective for expelling deceiving spirits? A formula is physical. A good thought directed toward God is worth much more. So it's interesting because here they are talking about those formulas for exorcism. If you want to get rid of an evil spirit, he would have all sorts of, rituals and whatever, but that involved these formulas. They were more related to material things. You bring some garlic, you put a crucifix, or, so, and spirits are saying, the formula is physical, it's material. So the good thoughts directed toward God is worth much more. And it's not just saying, oh God, please help me. No, it's actually seeing our life, doing our things, always with our mind directed towards God, asking for inspiration, asking for guidance, and checking to see if we are doing evil or if we are doing good, and always asking help to do good. It's not just a question of every now and then remembering, oh, God is there. Yeah, God, please don't forget me. Help me. I'm here. And then you carry on doing your, your things in a careless way. No, on the contrary, actually start to change your life. So we become like the earth, the planet, with the light being shed by the sun, on us. And that's how we should see, God shedding his love on us in our life, in the, minute things in our life. 23. Some spirits have said that they possess written signs that cannot be imitated, a kind of stamp by which they can be recognized and prove their identity. Is this true? I think he's saying about something like a signature or a stamp or something. The only signs highly evolved spirits possess for their identity are the loftiness of their ideas and their language. Any spirit can imitate a physical trait. As for less evolved spirits, they betray themselves in so many different ways that only someone who is blind could be deceived by them. Again, we should, before taking any message, whatever the message is, even those who appear to be, a good message from a good spirit, we should always analyze that. We shouldn't take things as they come before, scrutinizing it, before reading and seeing if it makes sense. And as it's been said so many times before, good spirits, they don't feel hurt because we doubt their identity. But evil spirits, yes, they do, because they have this intention of trying to deceive us. If they say, oh no, you a group, I will abandon you because you doubt what I'm saying. No, they won't do that. No, they just give it to us without expecting anything in return, good or bad, saying, oh, I don't know, this message is a bit out of context, I don't know if it's good or if it's not. Well, for them, they've done their job, it's there for the good ones. But for the evil one, they want to use that as a hook. They just want to get us. And if they see that we are not moving away from their plans, they try to catch us in any possible way, even showing that they are hurt, that we are not being fair, and so on. Hi, Liz.
Just a question on these messages. Is it possible that you've got a good message, but there's some little niggling doubt about whether that is really who they say they are? Is that sometimes it's our own gut instinct, but can that be from a good spirit trying to actually raise that doubt for us by having that niggling thing to further scrutinize? Are they allowed to help us in that respect?
Well, what they do is sometimes they bring the question, not as per se, but bringing some ideas, and they leave us to think about them. It's like, starting a new subject at school. Sometimes the teacher, he just brings something. Have you thought about that? And then the kids start to think. And when they start to direct their minds towards what they want, what the teacher wants, and then the teacher starts to bring, more on that, because now they are sort of fertile soil ground to receive that. But as we see, good spirits, from first letter to the last letter in the text or in the message, he is the same. He doesn't betray himself. Like a spirit acting as good one, and then he, asks or uses a different language or acts in a not elevated way. No, they are constant in that because it's their nature. And regarding the identity of the spirits, the identity is important, not because the spirit wants us to believe it is that spirit, but to show the level of the spirit who's coming, the level of the communication that we are receiving. If I, die and come to a group to give a communication and, say that I'm so and so, that's because I'm comparing myself and saying I'm at the same level as that spirit. Or if that spirit were to give you a similar message, it wouldn't be much different from this message. So that's why the identity is important, and not for us to believe, oh, it was Saint Francis of Assisi. Yes, I'm sure it is him. It's him. Well, it may be him. It may be a spirit at the same level, bringing a message that wouldn't be much different. Hi, Liz. Okay. I think the following questions will answer more of your doubt in terms of because yes, they raise some aspects without answering them, or without giving further information, just for us to okay. But they'll never force things on us. Sometimes I say, yes, they will call our attention to things. So we start to meditate and ponder and pay attention to that. And once we do that, of course, they will add to that slowly or according to our capacity as well.
Thank you.
23. Some spirits have said that they put, oh, sorry, we've read that one. Can't deceiving spirits also imitate thoughts? they imitate thought as theater scenes imitate nature. So it's something hollow, it's something that is not real. It's like us imitating someone. You see that it is just the outside, and inside is hollow. We don't believe that is real in that spirit. 25. Is it always easy to detect fraud by a careful examination? Absolutely. Spirits can only deceive those who allow themselves to be deceived. This is very important. We've been saying that so many times. If I'm a proud medium. I still have a lot of that in me. And the spirit comes and says he's, who knows? And I want to believe that because I'm proud. I wouldn't accept, someone unknown or no. So I'm, very much prone to being deceived by spirits because they know I have that, problem of that pride in me, and they work on that. They'll do everything to use my pride to deceive me, to make me blind. And but it's interesting that the spirits say that careful examination, would be easy to, or it would be easy to detect fraud by a careful examination. Nevertheless, the eyes of a jeweler are needed to tell a true gem from a fake. And whoever does not know how to do so must go to a lapidary. So we need skills to do that. And in order to do skills, we have to first to take the lessons and learn from these lessons. We say, oh, we are a group here, we do our mediumship work, and we have good intention, so we are exempt from being deceived, from being under the attack of evil spirits. No. And then I say, well, why is that happening? Because it's like a vaccine. We need to take the virus in a controlled state to be able to react when the real virus, affects us, or if, that happens. So that's why we every now and then we have certain situations within a mediumship group as a reminder for us to be careful, to use this careful examination in everything, for us to stop and look at ourselves, perhaps not within the group, within that hour that we get together to do the mediumistic practice, but to look in our life the rest of the week, what we are doing there, because we know we are constantly preparing ourselves for the next meeting in this sense. We are alive, we are exercising our virtues. Sometimes we bring with us also certain vices that we should be reading ourselves from, and everything in our daily life will affect that, because it keeps us at a certain level. When we say, oh, I'm a spirit of a certain level, my vibrations and so on, where do they come from? Are they exempt from being affected from what I do on my daily life? No. It's actually a reflection of what I do within a certain range, which is my natural range. Monir is not a wonderful spirit, but he's not the most, devilish spirit that exists. So within a certain, range of vibration, I can, be at the top, or perhaps next hour, next day, next week, I'll be at my lower performance, vibration. And of course, if I go to the meeting when I'm down, I'll take that with me. So that's why it's important to, program our week in terms of good things, doing a good reading and praying and trying to bring that good environment that we get when you do, for instance, the gospel in the home. That 1 hour a week where we just sit down with the family or those around us to do a good reading, do a prayer together in our home. So that environment, if we want, we can take with us like a shield, not a shield that prevents us from being affected by, daily situations, but for to help us to act when the situations come, act accordingly, and not just letting the worst of us to come out and create perhaps more embarrassing situations for us. There are 26. There are persons who allow themselves to be seduced by a flowery language, who are more interested in words than ideas, and who misstate erroneous and common ideas as sublime. Since they are so inept at judging other people's work, how can they possibly judge Spirit's work? When they are modest enough to recognize their insufficiency, they do not rely on themselves. When out of pride they regard themselves as more capable than they really are, they pay the penalty for their foolish vanity. Fraudulent spirits know whom they are dealing with. They are simple persons. There are simple persons with little education who are more difficult to deceive than some who are smart and scholarly. By flattering their vanity, spirits do with them as they please. Here we are. Apparently, they keep on repeating that, in different ways, of course, for us to see that, the space station, and they, these modules they send, and that couples exactly to the space station. So people like a Boeing Star, forgot now the name of the company by from Elon Musk, all these companies that they send, they all know, or they need to know exactly how to do that. And for us, that for the spirits is actually according to our vices and our virtues. So the spirits will know exactly how to, couple to us with, good, to bring us good, or to do us harm. And as it's been said here, these evil spirits would want to deceive when they see in us this vanity, of course, they'll go straight to that. That's where they will act in order to cultivate that. Actually, and they will work on that so that they can be accepted by us. That's why in deception, and in many other cases as well, I would even dare saying that going to obsession, we take an active part in that, in allowing that. Because if we manage to change, how would I say, the arrangement there, so these spirits won't latch on us, because they no longer will find, what they thought they would. So basically they'll just try and go away because they can, do anything about that. But it is up to us to change this coupling, without giving them the map, the key. And it's interesting to see that sometimes it's not the degree of education or, simple persons, they say here, with little education are more difficult to deceive. And sometimes we see that a lot, that, some people, they have very little in life to be, proud of in terms of material things and achievements, but they have a good heart. They are already spirits who show a degree of moral advancement, and that is sufficient to prevent them from being deceived by these spirits. And when they see spirits trying to deceive them, they won't just shout at them and, send them away straight away. They'll try to do something good for that spirit, just, finding a way to leave something good with that spirit, saying, "Oh, I know what you want. I know these, but listen, you are welcome here if you want to do, according to what we do here, you accept that. And if not, you're free to go. But if you do, you're most welcome." So some of them will say, well, people usually do not welcome me in these circumstances. Just send me away with rude words, but you're doing that. Perhaps that will touch that spirit. We don't know. We shouldn't forget evil spirits are spirits just like us. We may have been as evil as someone who comes to a meeting shouting and threatening us and whatever. We don't know. We should always use the lenses of charity. Is there anything I can do for this spirit? Whoever he is, in whatever situation he or she is, there's always be someone always trying to deceive us, is an obsessing spirit. Then we say, oh, he's not human. No, it is human. And it's perhaps someone with a tremendous problem, difficulty inside. And that evil is the result of something that is hurting inside. And it's not a little, thing. Sometimes a huge wound that is there, and that spirit is carrying. That's why it's reacting in that way or acting in that way. And if we open a door, leave it open and say, well, if you want, you're most welcome to join our study or to but if not, do not disturb what we are doing, and you're free to go your way. And so sometimes it works immediately. Sometimes it will have its effects a bit later, but it's something that we always give when we have this good heart. So we see it's not just beautiful words, very elaborate one, or theories or whatever. It's just a sincere heart. I think I told you so many times about this a mediumistic session that Divaldo Franco, the Brazilian medium, was taking part, and the indoctrination was using very elaborate words and talking, in a very pompous way to the spirit, and reciting the spiritist books and so on and so forth. And it was a case of obsession. And the spirit was adamant. It was actually arguing in a very rude way with indoctrination, and indoctrination started to get, angry as well. And so when the situation was about to get out of control, this woman, very simple, very humble, she was a medium in the group. She stepped in and said, oh, can I just have a word with the spirits? And she was an old lady, very, very humble, so she just welcomed the spirit as if he was one of her grandchildren. And she talked to him like that, like a sweet grandmother. And then the spirit changed it. And then he said, oh, okay, well, I'll do what you're asking me because you're asking me from your heart. But if it was for him, I would never do that. So we see that, it's not what we say to the spirit, the way we, no. It's the sincerity from our hearts. Sincerity from our heart. Sometimes the spirit just wants to, argue and fight with us as mediums, as indoctrinators sometimes. And if we put ourselves in a humble position and say, well, okay, I understand. Yes, I'm full of, all of these you were saying, but I'm here trying to get better. And what are you doing? Do you think you get anywhere like that? Sometimes whoa, the guy is accepting that, he's not perfect, and he has all these a list of problems, and his personality and so on. But so it's just a question of being humble, not ready to fight to take the spirit away, whatever the costs. No. And that's why they say that, even in the case of deception, it's the spiritual moral level that counts more than just, the educational or knowledge sometimes. Okay. So I'll still have 15 minutes. 27. Through their written communications, do evil spirits sometimes betray themselves with involuntary material physical signs? The really skillful ones, no. The inept ones become confused. Any meaningless or puerile sign is sure to indicate inferiority. High-order spirits do nothing useless. Somehow, so answering where is Liz? Oh, what do you ask, Liz? I mean, they will keep a certain level. They may sometimes bring something new, but never something that, has a contrast with the whole of the message or whatever. The Spirit sweets and talking about charity, and then there is a sentence there that, no, but you have to fight at all costs. Fight, at all costs. It sounds, different. And also with some ideas. They won't bring something extraordinary to us, something fantastic. Saying, no, the day is coming when the earth will be totally transformed and the trees will be all blue instead of green, and things that are sort of a bit difficult to swallow, I would say. So that's why
they're totally contradictory,
Yeah.
contradictory to our current knowledge and our teachings and everything.
Yes,
So it doesn't sit with us. Yeah.
It's something that goes to the extremes.
Yeah.
No, they always, subtle. They are always inducing us to conclude it. It's like some people, we don't have to give them the answer. We have to help them get to the answer. So they will say, oh, okay, I managed to answer that. Yes, you did.
But the crafty thing is, you see, the spirits that, deceivers can be higher deceivers. You say subtlety, they can use subtlety. So if we have a higher knowledge, then they're going to use higher subtlety.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah. So it's still going to be difficult for us because there are all the different levels.
Yes, yeah. Indeed. But it will always be a challenge. That's why we have to prepare.
Yeah.
That's why it's not a job for beginners. No, of course, we have to start at some points, like a little tree, the oak tree one day was a tiny little fragile tree, and so it needs protection. If it's viable, then the good spirits will protect it and expose to the necessary experiences according to the level. I want to expose this tiny little oak tree, to a hurricane. It has to grow, and, the roots need to go deeper and deeper. So when it's strong, it can withstand higher winds. But, the beginning is just a breeze or something. So the good spirits, they do that unless we are evil from the very beginning. Our intentions are evil from the very beginning. Then they'll just wait for us to see the results, and then they'll work on that. Say, see, you're not ready for that. You're not prepared for that. You haven't worked hard to, be in a different situation. So if you want, we are here. Now you can do it properly. And then, we have to help the little tree at the beginning to get, go upwards instead of, staying close to the ground. And sometimes not an easy job. I sometimes ask myself, poor guardian angel, sometimes I'm so stubborn, and how, I give him a hard time all every day. Go that way, that is easier. And then in my stubbornness, I said, no, I want to do it this way. And but it's part of the the learning process. 28. Many mediums recognize good and evil spirits, by either a pleasant or disagreeable sensation as they approach. Either a disagreeable impression, a convulsive agitation, or uneasiness, always indicative of the evil nature of manifesting spirits? The answer: a medium experiences the sensations of the states of the manifesting spirit. When the spirit is happy, its state is peaceful, light, and calm. When unhappy, it is agitated and feverish, and this agitation is naturally transmitted to the medium's nervous system. Moreover, the same applies to humans. Those who are moral display calmness and peace. Those who are evil are always agitated. And then Kardec adds on that. He makes his comments. There are mediums of greater or lesser impressionability, and for that reason we cannot consider agitation as an absolute rule. Herein, as in everything else, we must take the circumstances into account. The heavy and disagreeable nature of the sensations is produced by contrast, because if the medium's spirit sympathizes with the evil spirit who manifests, it will barely be affected, if at all. However, we must not confuse the speed of writing produced by the extreme flexibility of certain mediums with the convulsive agitation that slower mediums can experience upon contacting imperfect spirits. So basically what the spirits say here, and Kardec adds, is sensitive mediums, they will feel, as many have experienced, a nice sensation or an unpleasant sensation according to the spirit who is there. Not because the spirit is directing that towards us, because it's the state of the spirit. Sometimes we meet a friend in the street, for instance, the person is very agitated, full of problems, and he, spills all the problems on top of us, and his or her agitation, it's contagious, contaminates us. We start to feel a bit agitated by seeing someone agitated, and we take to us the problems of that person. With spirits, it's more or less the same. We start to perceive their state, and then we start being affected by that. Sometimes some people say, "Oh, just be quiet for a while. You are making me agitated as well." So spirits is the same. So when the spirit approaches, some mediums are very sensitive to the state of the spirit. But what Kardec is saying here is that there's also a contrast. If the medium is not at the same level of the spirit, the medium will feel the contrast. The medium is calm and tranquil, and then an agitated spirit comes, and then the medium starts to feel agitated. And also on the contrary, a very agitated person all of a sudden stays calm. But imagine a calm, very quiet medium perceives that there is a calm and quiet spirit approaching. The medium will behave exactly in the same way, won't notice much difference, because it is at the same level. That's why Kardec said here, sympathizes with the evil spirit. If the medium's spirit sympathizes with the evil spirit, meaning that the frequency is basically the same, it will barely be affected, if at all, because it's already like that. So that's why, again, it's so important to raise our moral conditions, to raise ourselves in terms of vibrations through our thoughts and through our sentiments, so that we will be barely affected by good spirits, meaning that we'll be more or less at their level and perceive the sudden change when evil spirits approach us. And that, of course, depends on the medium's spirit, on us. So when it says depending on the medium spirit, it depends on the moral state, or the state of elevation of that spirit. If it has a lot of vices, if it's always nurturing evil thoughts, and of course, the natural syntony, the natural frequency is lower. And if a spirit comes with the same frequency, it won't, he won't perceive or barely be affected by that, as Kardec has put. And also agitation. We see some writing mediums sometimes, they write in such a frantic way, but there aren't, and then they change the paper. So it's not a sign of an unpleasant or evil spirit. It's just that, it's the way it works. The flow, it flows more easily. So the process in itself is faster. And I've seen some videos of Chico Xavier receiving some message. It was such a high speed. I was really impressed. But it's not something that creates agitation, convulsive or so. Like some mediums, they shake, they bang the top of the table, and they do all sorts of things that people become uncomfortable with that. And as they say, slower the process. Hi, Christine.
I was just going to say, talking the other night in a spiritualist group, we were talking about morality versus intellectual. So that can be said about the spirit coming through as well. You can pick up on their morals as a spirit versus their intellect to help determine whether they're evil or really trying to help us.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you one thing. This question of moral and intellectual development, in my view, the intellect is the propeller of the rocket, but the rocket itself is more moral. So why should I study Spiritism if I should be, or it is more important to be cultivating our moral values? Well, because your moral values, to be able to grow, to improve, they need this propeller. They need the ideas they need. And we see how important it is, all the teachings that we receive. So morally we can develop and can act and according to the laws. There are laws, universal laws, that should be respected if we want to go in the right direction, divine laws. And it's difficult to learn about these laws, which is intellectual aspect of it, if we don't study them, if we don't stop and pay attention and meditate and discuss, and get together to analyze. But the result of that in itself has no meaning if you don't use that to improve yourself morally. Well, now I have to, to act. I have to use that in order to act. I'm becoming a better person because now I understand that there is this progress in every incarnation. There is reincarnation. There is progress, constant progress. So why would I delay that? So that helps me work on my moral side, making the effort to acquire virtues. But knowledge without practice, is empty. It's like the propeller without fuel, won't take you anywhere. So, propeller is there to help the rocket to go in one direction. And this rocket is us, with our moral, spiritual developments.
The energy frequency vibration of a spirit communicating, if that's really fast, and the medium comments on it being fast, does that mean that that's a higher elevation?
Yes, Kardec puts that, it's not one-to-one this. You can't say, it's fast, is this kind of spirit, is not fast, is that kind of spirit. We should evaluate the result of that.
Yeah.
If a spirit is fast and, but in the end you said, well, if we squeeze that, how much will it take from that? So very little, it wasn't necessary to make all that fuss to, so I think that's wiser if we look from this perspective than just saying no. As I mentioned to you, Chico Xavier used to write in a very frantic way. So his hand was there, and the sound of the pencil, and on the paper, and but it was just that, just his hands. The rest of him was quiet. He used to put his left arm on his face and bow slightly down, and while he was writing. But that was it. And in the end, beautiful messages, beautiful books, and so on. So, it has to be analyzed if it's necessary or not, if it's natural in the process, or if it's not. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, my dear people. It's time for us to end our study today. Hope you enjoyed it. And let's just say a quick prayer. Oh, let's do we normally now do a kind of radiation for the world. Can you do that, Rafael? Yeah, good.
I can do it. If you want to stop the recording, you can close.
Yeah, sure. I will stop now. Yeah.
Hello.